Today I'm gonna be walking through the vakStore. This is my website and I'll explain how it works. First, you log in with your Google account. That's pretty much the login process. When it's logged in, it should show you your balance and email address. And also your balance should show up here in the combined totals. Then you can add items to either your buy multiple items carts or sell multiple items carts. So this works pretty simply. You just type what you want to buy or sell. Let's say I want to buy resin. I type resin, I click it. I click how many I want, or I can type like 10 stacks, for example. Add. Now it adds 10 stacks to the buy request. If I want to add fat, I don't know, like 2 stacks, I can do that. Or linen. And this button is for favoriting. You can favorite them, so then they show up on the top, as you can see. That's how favorites works. You can also unfavorite things, like that. Just click the star again. But let's say we added this linen as well. So we have resin, fat, and linen. Okay, so the total will be 1,766 EWs. Now what is EW? Exchange weight. That's the currency used in my system. Now how do I pay for this? Oh no, this debt, I'm going 1,500 into debt because my account only has almost 300. Now I probably need to sell something. Okay, let's sell some, I don't know, 5 stacks of copper ingots. Okay, that's still not enough. Now let's say I have what would be a good thing? Candles, right? I have candles that I can pay with, and I want to pay the rest 100% of the account balance. So I'll choose here account balance, calculate payment, and it will add exactly the amount of candles I need to bring to pay off the debt. Pretty simple. Then when I have figured out that I want to buy this stuff and sell this stuff, and I'm fine with all the numbers, I click submit purchase request. For me it says admin, since I am the admin. Okay. This means that the login didn't go through. My login has expired here, so I will have to refresh the page. You can also copy transaction data this way by clicking that. Now I'm refreshing with Ctrl Shift and R, or F5 also works. And then import transaction data. Okay, I need to log in, so there it's loading profile, and when the statistics show up here, and when it shows up in the combined totals here, then it's actually logged in. Now import it. Let's see if that works. Yes, it did. Partially. It got my sell history, but did it get my buy history? Yes, it did, but it's a little bugged. I will fix that later. But now, what I bought, what I sold, it's all back since I imported the data. And now I'll clear that since I am not acting on behalf of myself. This is admin tools for infrastructure and for acting on behalf of a customer. But now we can submit. Now that I've logged in and everything is fine, it should allow me to submit. There, a request has been submitted. This means that the admin has gotten a request. I'll pull up an admin panel here. So I'll reload this request. So again, I need to log in. But that should not be a problem. There. Now I loaded the transaction. As you can see, the net change is negative, but the balance after is still positive, so it's fine to do this trade. I'll load the details so I can see everything. Now I know what I need to give to the player and what I need to take from the player's box. And this is the number, so I know where to go. I click approve, or I could deny it if there's something wrong, but after approving it, the customer gets into their account history here, they will get a history receipt for their transaction. So after this loads, here we have the receipt. Items bought, items sold. And of course date and time, as well as how much money was changed, what's after, and it's also shown here on the top. And a creator is user, since I was acting by myself instead of the admin, right? Here we can see creator admin on behalf of. That means the admin acted on behalf of you if you did the transaction in-game. The admin needs to still do this on the website so that everything is legitimate and gets receipts. Now to go see what the OCM looks like. Open Commodities Market. This thing is a tool where people can see each other's listings for what they want to sell or buy. There's the OCM Merchant on the top. That is the tool where you create these listings. And how do I use this? Those always lead you to the instructions for each section. These are found everywhere on the website. But let's go and take a look at, for example, this resin trade. It says +7 alts. That means alternative payment types. Here you can choose from the different types. The default option is EV payments, which is that you're paying the equivalent amount of EV that it would cost you to buy however many of the primary item the merchant has chosen. So in this case, how much it would cost to buy from vakStore 448 flexed wine. But if you choose in item payments, you need to now bring the flexed wine instead. Or you can choose to bring rusty gears or fat or whatever the merchant has chosen to accept. And the number here is very important. These green or red warnings, they are favor percentages. They tell you exactly how beneficial and to whom it is. So if that is, let's say in gold nuggets, it's warning you, it's red. More expensive compared to store. Customer disfavor. That means this is 62% more expensive if you're paying in gold nuggets. But now if we're buying more, you see the percent change. Okay, paying in gold isn't that bad. Because earlier we were buying 1 resin with 1 gold nugget. Since gold nuggets are more valuable than resin nuggets, you would need to buy about 3 resin pieces for 1 gold nugget. And that would be fair. As you can see, it's a 45% cheaper trade than the store. So paying in gold is fine, just don't buy too little resin. That's pretty much the gist of it. You can compare prices, figure out what you like, and then do the trade. So when you have chosen what you want to buy, for example in this case I want to buy 1 stack of resin, I would click Send Transaction. But the problem here should be that this is my transaction. Cannot trade with yourself. You can't buy your own things, is one. So you have to buy from someone else. So let's go here, and I'll buy parchment and pay with potash, and I'll buy a stack. Send transaction. Now it will send this transaction to the merchant, in this case Idiomacritter, and it will also send it to the admin. So let's see. It should load here the list, the purchase request I made here. So item parchment merchant Idiomacritter, how much I'm paying, you know, total value, and the fact that it's pending. I can cancel it or I can edit the listing here. You know, I can pay in items or EV or whatever changes I want to make. And, you know, canceling it will also remove it from the merchant's view. But let's go to the admin view so we can see what it looks like here. So pending trades, these, here we can see the same pending request. So here parchment and more info. This will show merchant gives 1 stack of parchment, customer pays 2 stacks of potash. So I would take the potash from the customer's box and give it to the merchant, and I would take the parchment from the merchant's box and give it to the customer. And then I would click accept, and it would take a 10% fee from the merchant's account in the form of EV. So 10% of this value. Actually canonical EV, but yeah, in this case it's the same since we use the primary peg to pay. So I click accept, and both the customer and merchant get their own receipts in the account history page. So we can go there to look at that again. It is not here because you have to choose the mode on the OCM, and then it loads again. Here. I paid 2 stacks of potash. This was the total EV value. And who did I trade with? This is a receipt for the date and time. You know how receipts work. Now to go to the OCM merchant. This is where you can create these listings, right? So let's say I want to sell resin, for example, and I want to accept, let's say, flax twine as a form of payment, and I want to accept candles, okay? So now I need to adjust these numbers so they look less ridiculous, okay? Now this looks kind of fair. That's almost 60%, this is 60%, that's almost 50%, this is a little over 50%. This seems pretty fair. So then I would choose how much I have. So let's say I have 5 stacks for sale. And this is my listing. And then I just click here, create store listing. And it says this listing already exists. But it's I have similar listings, but I'll let it create it anyway. Usually you just want to edit the resin listing you already have instead of making new ones. And then here you can see that it came into the pending sheets. I can delete it, or you know, after it has been finalized, you can edit it. So here you can choose a listing, you can edit it, you can delete it, you can pause it. Pausing will make it not visible to the public anymore. You can do whatever you want with this. You can restock them, but any edits you do to your listing that is not automatic will require admin approval, because the admin needs to check that everything is as people claim, because false advertisement is not allowed here. And here you can see your pending trades, both your pending trades that you are sending out to the world and incoming pending trades, which means you are the merchant, you are selling something or making a buy request, and someone is requesting to trade with you. And this is where you can accept those trades. And then when you click here to accept them, that is your responsibility to actually give the things that the customer requested to them, and it is your responsibility to take payment for it. It is not the system's responsibility, the system only gives the receipts and makes sure that there's organized prices and stuff. Now to get to the leaderboards. Here we can see other players that have statistics shown publicly that they choose to show. The default option is that no data, no name, no nothing is shown here. For example, I had set my account leaderboard status to half opt-in, which means that I get an anonymous number. It doesn't show my name, it shows anonymous and then a number. And then my statistics, like my values, puts me on the chart. I know who I am, but nobody else does, unless I tell them that I'm number 1. There's many statistics here, OCM statistics, store statistics, participation, you know, all kinds of stuff, record periods, many things, favorite items, total sell value, total buy value, biggest trades, that kind of stuff. Now to go to the next one, work pay rates. These are interesting for the people who want to know how much they can make with what kinds of tasks. For example, copper ingots, this refers to mining copper. If you click more info, that will tell you a little bit about the mining process. But also, the fact that these clays look like they can pay a lot, that is a little misleading, since you have to keep in mind that the logistics of delivering that large amount of clay to the store is not counted into this hourly rate. That is only counted for how long it takes you to dig the item. It assumes that there is no friction on bringing that item to the market, which is possible if you do what is suggested. If you use terminus teleporters as transportation, it is near no friction to deliver those goods, because terminuses can teleport things instantly from A to B with pretty minimal costs in both time and resources. But yeah, of course I don't have everything here listed. I only have what I have myself experienced on like how fast I can dig dirt or cut trees, etc, etc. And heard from other player experience how fast they can do different types of tasks. I update this every now and then as much as I can when I get more information on different tasks. Now to get to the bank page. This is quite interesting. Here I will show all the data for the currency itself and how it evolves over time. Like this is EV in circulation, day to day, it updates every day, it measures how much people have in their accounts, currency issued and destroyed, how much of the currency is brought into the open market and how much is destroyed. How that works is explained in the economy specifications page. You can find that from the white paper. But in short, the currency is only issued when somebody sells me items. So if you sell to the store an item, you get money, you get EVs. And how that money is destroyed is either through OCM fees, so the 10% fee, or when you buy things from my store. So if you buy things from my store, the money supply goes down. If you sell things, money supply goes up. Very simple. And the reason this is not problematic is because I have profit margins in between. So there will always be more items on the shelves than there will be money in supply. And then the metal backing is a different thing. That tries to always have more metals in circulation than there is money in circulation. This means bank runs that are like everybody wants to turn all their money into metals directly. That is supposed to be possible at all times. So bank runs would not hurt the economic system overall. Store net worth. This will track the store net worth over time. Currently it's a little lacking in data since wipe hasn't happened yet and I haven't measured this in I only started a little bit ago. But yes, this will show how the value of the items on the shelves of the store probably increase. That's the hypothesis here over time. And let's say how it may go down from infrastructure investments. I show infrastructure investments and the details about them here. So I will make reports here every time I do a big infrastructure investments. Let's say I make a public factory or public forest or something like this, and it needs a lot of materials. I will specify exactly which materials were used here, how much it costed, why I did the project, and how it helps the community overall. And then metal allocation percentage. This is how much of the metal insurance, this metal backing, how much of that is backed by which metal. So this percent also updates daily. So currently, for example, gold is 50% of the metal backing, which is quite heavy on gold, but gold is a pretty good store of value, so that's fine. And then we also measure wealth distribution over time. So this will tell you how much EV is owned by, let's say, the top 1% or top 9% or top 20, stuff like that. So we can more we can better see the wealth distribution over time and how that may affect the player base, because this is also kind of research at the same time. As I already mentioned, the infrastructure investments. I measure inflation and velocity, trade velocity. This is trade velocity. It means basically how much of things are traded during that day. So how much of, let's say, resin was bought on this day, or how much of resin was sold on this day. And then you can compare it to other days, and then you can compare different items to different items and see which items are actually the most traded on multiple fronts. So here you can choose either by EV or by store volume, i.e. the amount of goods, OCM volume, so that's like people trading on the OCM. So you can kind of compare these things. Unique trades and trade count. Unique trades is like different people, different individuals. Trade count is just how many trades were done. So the same person can do 10 trades, and that would count as 10 in the trade count, but it would only count as 1 in the unique trades since it's only one player. And then the inflation charts, there's different ones. This is for all items, then there's metal indexes, then there's a common items index, and yes, these have explanations somewhere. Well, too bad I can't find it now, but you can also choose the selected items, which will show the inflation for these items that you selected, and you can choose what you want to see here. So let's say I have fat resin, candles, beeswax. I want to add linen, right? So I can click there. I can apply. So now it will apply linen to both the velocity and the inflation charts, because I chose the selected items, so it will affect this. But that will not affect these other charts, because of course not. And this is velocity per item, so it will show for the individual items that you selected or the top 10 items overall, if you tap that. Velocity combined. This is just how much activity there is in the market during that day, because this sums up both the buying and the selling. So if this number is very high, that means there's a lot of trade activity during that day. That's pretty much simply it. Now we've gone through the entire bank page. That was pretty much it. There is some basic instructions here and explanations of how things work. Also, if you are ever in doubt, just use the how do I use this page. It most of the time explains all the sections pretty well. So if you're ever confused, just use that. There is plenty of documentation to go around. All pages and all sections have their own. Now to go to the price history. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the useful links for the main page. Here are some useful links related to TOPS, like the TL route calculator, TOPS map, the wiki. This is useless, I'll remove that. Price sheet, that's just the backend sheet for my thing, if you want to see that in real time. This is the official Vintage Story page and the official mods page. Here we have the insurance policy, I'll open that on a separate tab. Price history, also on a separate tab. Vintage Story economics, that's my essay about the economic state of the game on the last wipe. White paper, you can also find it on the top there. It explains about the system overall and how and why it works. Economy specifications explains a lot about the currency and how that works and how it was designed. But now to the history. Item market history. Here, this will show the price history of everything. So you can search any item here, you can compare it to other items, and you can see how their prices change over time. And then this is currently total valuation, but you can choose to see stock amount, like how much the store has in stock on the shelves at any given day. You can see how the price has changed as a literal number, just price number, or percentage. And the total valuation that was earlier, this means the total value in EVs of all of this type of item on the shelves, like combined. The gold stock percentage, this is also this is like the percentage how much, like how close are we to reaching the goal. And the goal is set by the store owner, i.e. me. I currently manually set it according to how I see the store's needs to be. So if I see I am lacking in something and there is more demand for it, then I should raise the goal to be able to buy more for a higher price for now, and then that way have a larger stockpile. The goal is kind of just a stockpile goal which sets the price according to how much stock we have compared to the goal. So this is the goal percentage, but then target stock, this is what you want to look at. This is the target. The target also changes, but rarely. Usually the price changes only because people buy and sell. If some people buy the thing, the price goes up. If some people sell the thing, the price goes down. Very simple. Stock go up, price go down. Stock go down, price go up. Very simple supply and demand. We still have the same inflation metrics as in the bank page and same velocity metrics as in the bank page. So enough about those. Now I can quickly show the insurance policy and how that works. This is not yet perfect. As you can see, it is not stylized perfectly, but you can have up to 5 insurance policies, which is pretty good. And you can name your policies, you can adjust your metal allocations, you can choose what you want, how much you want it in your insurance policy. So let's say you wanted 50% silver, 20% copper, and 30% meteoric iron, like I did here. Or you want a different insurance policy, which you can open here, and you can name it like gold, and then you can adjust this to be 100% gold, right? Like gold, save name, and save allocation. Now it should be saving this policy as gold and saving the allocation percentage as 100% gold. Right. And then it currently doesn't have an estimate since we haven't deposited anything. And it complains insufficient balance since I do not have enough funds. As you can tell, since I just did the big purchase earlier, I only have 2 EV left. I can't insure anything. Okay, that's too bad. But I have some insurance policies here. As you can see, I have 2 units of insurance. 1 unit is 500 EVs. That's how this works. So I can withdraw either 500 EVs or I can withdraw the metals that I have in this insurance policy. The current metals I have are 8 ingots and 2 nuggets of silver, 13 ingots and 5 nuggets of copper, and 3 ingots and 1 nugget of meteoric iron. So if I want to just grab all the metals in game, I click metal withdrawal, this button. If I want the EVs back and I want to spend those on other items, I click this, and then the admin comes and takes whatever metals are needed to be taken away for you to get this money. And when the admin has completed it, you get the money. It's pretty much just reserving, like putting your money aside, and I also put metals aside, so we both promise not to touch those until one of the parties wants. I won't touch your metals unless you quote-unquote give them back to me by withdrawing the EV. But you can grab the metals or withdraw the EV at any time. This is the way that I keep the value of EV loosely tied to the value of metals. So let's say here I click this withdraw metals. It's a little laggy right now, so it doesn't really show you anything here. But after waiting a little, it should update and show this as pending instead. There. Now it's pending. So now if we open it, it says pending withdrawal partial. We are not withdrawing all of it, because all of it would be 2 units. I only requested 1. I can cancel it here, which will just cancel the request, or I can wait until the admin finishes it. Admin, me, needs to load it here in the insurance requests. And after this loads, we can see it here. So I can see that previously you had this many metals. Now you're supposed to have this many. So I look at here, I grab all the metals I need from your chest, I approve it, and then when it is approved, all you need to do is refresh the page, and it verifies you again, and then it should be fine. Oh look, I already have the 500 EV in my account. That's perfect. That means it was successful. Now we just need the policy to load. There. It's active, and there's 1 unit. That's perfect. Everything went correctly. So now you have the EVs, you can spend those however you like, and you have less metals in your reserve. This metal amount will be in-game in a chest accessible to you at any time inside your deposit box claim. That's how it's secure. Now to go to the last part of this, the settings. This is important. Here in the settings you can adjust your leaderboard status, for example, which is by default opted out, meaning that your name is not shown and your statistics are not shown. The half opt-in is what I'd assume most people would go with, which is your name is not shown, but your statistics are. So you can know where you are in the leaderboards, but no one else knows unless you tell them which number you are. Full opt-in will mean that your name will be shown. If that's okay by you, go right ahead. If you did any misspelling on your name or mailbox, you can correct it here. Please do not adjust this unless there's something wrong with them. That's mainly just there for fixing. Because if you type something wrong here, I will not be able to find you. If you type your username wrong, I don't know who you are. So, those can cause problems. If you want to delete your account, you just click delete and confirm deletion. This will remove your email from the backend and you cannot log in anymore. Statistics. Here we come to the fun things. Some of these statistics are yours and yours personally and not shown to anyone ever, but most of them are shown on the leaderboards if you give separately consent. So you have to change this status and then save leaderboard preference. You need to click this button, so it's saved. But for example here you can track how much you bought, how much you've sold, and then if you do trading on the OCM you can see who you trade with the most, for example, and then other top 5 statistics like top 5 merchants you trade with and stuff like that. These top 5 statistics track every week, so they are not in real time, and these normal statistics update daily. So they're not all up to date constantly because that would be too demanding on the servers, and my servers are not the best. But let's hope that's enough. But this was the tour of my entire service. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching.